Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Quentin, or you can call me Q on here as well. So today I'm actually going to be going over what my trading week did look like for this past week from the 2nd till the 6th of June of 2025. So for this week, it was actually, I'm going to admit it was a pretty bad week on my end. Performance-wise, I had made probably, honestly, I'm going to say I made probably like two main mistakes that had cost me the week in general. And in reality of trading, that is kind of how it goes, where you only need, a couple of decisions that are really going to kind of make or break your week. And these couple of decisions did make or break my week. The week had started off actually pretty decently, as you'll see throughout here. The week had actually started out pretty decently as well, but as the time went on, I had actually made probably like two bad decisions throughout the week that had kind of made everything kind of unfold. And then if I just not had done that, then everything else would have been just fine. So what I'm going to be going over here is going to be going over Monday. So sorry that my chart does not look the absolute best. I wish it did look the absolute best right here, but I just did a quick little markup of what I had seen for the week because I had cleared my entire chart for the entire week, so that when I go into this next one, I'm starting completely fresh. So starting here, this is actually going to be my Monday, and I do mainly trade gold. This is the only pair that I focus on for the most part. Gold this week was actually pretty messy, as you'll probably see here, where for the most part we moved both directions. It wasn't a clear move to just one side, which, understanding, like, obviously the market has its ways, but it literally just consolidated and then finally broke to the downside, where for the next week we can probably be seeing a lot more sellers than we are going to be seeing some buyers, especially after we just had NFP this past weekend as well. So for this first trade, it was on Monday. I do get up and trade at 4 a.m. Central Standard Time to actually go ahead and get on the chart and start analyzing and see what I'm going to be looking for the day. So on this first trade, as you'll see here, again, sorry it looks a little bit messy, but it is pretty simple for this first one. So I trade purely price action. I don't trade any of those like fair value gaps. I don't trade any of that type of stuff. On this first trade right here, you see that we had an initial push up on this 30-minute time frame. I also did use the 15-minute as well to kind of help give me a little bit more clarity as into what I was looking for on this as well. As you can see here, on the 15-minute, we had made an overall impulse to the upside. We made a slight correction that I had seen where we were actually coming back down into a 23.6. Now, the main reason I was able and did like this play is because it actually was an A+ setup for me, because we were overall mainly in this bullish trend. Every single time frame was in sync to head to the upside. So from here, it was literally just a matter of waiting for that lower time frame shift to start to actually go ahead and enter some buy position. So as you see, I did enter a buy position at this level right here after we had gotten a slight little breakout on the lower time frame that had shown me that we were getting a break of a counter trend line and a break of a resistance. So as I just simply can plot this right here, we had this counter trend line that I was focused on, and then as you see right here, literally as it broke out, that's when I was entered. So as soon as that happened, I got in. As you see, the day actually did play out pretty well. We did overall get a 1 to 2 on this as well. I was aiming for this negative 27 on this fib extension. So from there, it was actually a pretty simple trade. There wasn't too much to it, and that's how trading should be. For the next day, so for the next day, I had went into this one with a little bit of confusion because overall, as you see yesterday, we had took a buy position, and then this next day we were looking at a lot more sellers, which was a little bit conflicting as into what the overall story was saying, because overall we were in a really big heavy bullish condition, especially when you look on like a 4-hour or a daily time frame. The entire week went up until literally today, which is Friday the 6th, which is mainly because of NFP. So for this day, I again woke up at the same time I usually do. I woke up and I had seen that the 15-minute was actually making this slight downtrend move right here, where you can see that you had a consistent set of lower highs that were being formed and lower lows that were being maintained as well. So as soon as price had made this lower high push right here and actually interacted with this counter trend line, I was actually a little bit interested in taking some sells, because I was okay with this sell position even if it was a counter trend trade, just because it was on a 15-minute. If it was on anything lower, then it would be a no-go for me, just because that's my rule. But we had a lot of confluences that were saying that we could see the sell position, and I had taken this original sell around 4:15 in the morning. Literally, as I got to the chart, I had seen my entry opportunity. Sorry about that. My camera had actually just decided to quit on me. So while that is trying to figure it out, or while I figure that out down the road, I'm going to go ahead and actually just do the remainder of this without the face cam for right now. So for the remainder of the week, what had actually happened for this Tuesday, so like I was saying before, we had seen these consistent lower highs that we were continuously forming, as well as this counter trend line was being respected still. So what I had did is that I had seen here on a lower time frame that there was this shift in the market from this little minor uptrend that you would see on the 3-minute, which is what I was using at that point in time. On the 3-minute, you can see we had this minor little uptrend here. As soon as we had broke this minor support right here, I had seen, okay, we made another lower high on a lower time frame, broke out of that support level, entered again as soon as the price action had crossed below these MAs right here. So from here, as you see, the trade does play out in hindsight. Now, where I had made one of these two mistakes that I was talking about for the week was actually going to be this right here, was that I decided to close this trade at break even. Now, the reason I decided to close this trade at break even was because mainly was because it was a counter trend trade for one, and then for two, this price action movement was way too sporadic at the time that I was actually in it. Like, obviously, like in hindsight, it didn't do too much, but when price had actually decided to make what I had thought at the time was going to be a higher low right here in a downtrend, that does start to actually give me some signals to say, hey, this is probably not going to go the way that you are wanting it to go right now anymore. There is potential for it to still push that direction, sure, but we were starting to see signs of like, okay, buyers are starting to give us some type of kicking, or starting to kick in, because we had that higher low form where it did, especially as I was in this trade. And I'm not going to marry a counter trend trade, especially in this market right now, where we're having a lot of choppiness, as you can see, for the remainder of the week. So that was mainly Tuesday. After that had happened, I didn't bother to trade for the remainder of the day. I didn't like the fact that I had did this, and then I was a little bit confused because when you had plot this right here, you put this up and it gives you this. So for me personally, what I would like to see, or what I would like to wait for, is for price to actually break out to the backside of that counter trend line, or this trend line right here, for me to actually still go ahead and confirm more sellers at that point in time. I didn't get it, and then again, it was still a little bit confusing for me, and you can see that we were even in a little bit of a consolidation zone from here to here that we were just kind of stuck in until we had that breakout, which took us probably from 4 till almost 9 o'clock to actually break out of this zone. So when that had decided to make it push out, I was no longer interested, because it had made this really weak retrace back up, and we had completed what this counter trend was actually aiming to do at that point in time. So I wasn't really interested in taking any more sales for that day, so I just stayed away after that point. So that was a mistake, because you'll see in these next two trades, because this trade actually did play out, right? And it would have made me a 1 to 3 on top of that. So as you look here to the right, now this is going to be Wednesday. So on Wednesday, when I had woken up, same time again, I had woken up and price action was actually around this region. We had made this long push down, which had broke a level of support on a 15-minute for me. And then we had also broken this upward trend line and below the MAs in the same instance. So in my thinking, I was thinking that we were going to get something similar, where we were getting a counter trend play like this. But when you actually go to a 4-hour time frame and actually look at it from a zoomed out point of view, you can see that we were actually just kind of holding a support level here to an extent. Or even if you go to like a 1 hour, same thing, where we had made the support level with this bullish engulfing candle right here, and it was just being maintained in the long run. Everything that you had seen on the backside, or what you were seeing on this like downtrend, quote unquote, was something very short term that had finished out, or you were not getting any more of as soon as it had gave me this. But I had entered the sell on this candle right here. Once that had happened, it obviously like kind of pushed up. I believe news had made this candle right here. I'm not typically scared of news because I'm very technical based, and with being very technical based, I'm typically in the correct direction with whatever news is doing. Now, if I'm entering and it's literally like 10 minutes before news starts, I'm not gonna enter. I'd rather just wait it out. But if I entered and I've already been in a move for, let's say, an hour and news then starts, then sure. But in this case, I wasn't scared of this news event because it was ISM, I believe, and typically ISM isn't a really big mover. I know Trump had made some tweet, because, you know, Trump markets, Trump had tweeted out around sometime in the morning at like 7 my time, and that had somewhat of an influence on the market, I could tell. So that was really what happened on Wednesday. And then I had managed to recover this loss on this trade right here, where I took later in the day at almost noon. I simply just took this for a 1-to-1. You can actually see my breakdown of this trade on my IG. If you go there, please follow me. I'm actually trying to just grow my followers at the moment. So you can see this breakdown of this trade on my IG account. But I had made back what this loss took right here on this move right here, plus a little bit, nothing too crazy, but plus a little bit more. So that was that trade from Wednesday. That was Wednesday in general. Now, that was the morning of Wednesday, right? Now, let me talk about the night of Wednesday. So on the night of Wednesday, I had seen here that price had came down into the support level once again, and we gave a bullish engulfing, and everything to me at this point in time still points that we are overall bullish for the main trend. There's nothing that switches. There's no lower high that tells me, hey, there's a possibility for us to actually start to head down. Everything was still being maintained. As soon as it gave me that 30-minute bullish engulfing, I was actually interested in getting in. Now, the only thing is with this one, like I said, it was Wednesday night. This is at 8 o'clock at night, or sorry, this was at 10 o'clock at night, my Central Standard Time. That did that, and it also gave me some more confirmations on a lower time frame that we're actually breaking out of this downtrend structure. So as you see here, is that I had entered the buy literally as soon as price decided to break above this resistance point, and then also as soon as it decided to break out of this counter trend line. Preferably this one might have been a little bit better, but I like to wait for 2 confirmations, and these were the 2. This was 1, this is 2. The third one would have been cross above, which it eventually did do. But as you see here on the 30-minute, literally I entered and the first 30-minute candle just completely reverses. And in that instance, there's only so much I can really do with that case, and it kind of is what it is. You kind of just have to chop it up to the game and just take the loss to the chin. As you see, I was overall correct on the move, just wrong on the timing. So that one was fine. I didn't decide to re-enter because I had literally fell asleep, because I needed to sleep for me to get up and trade the normal morning session that I was looking to actually trade that next day. So now from here, this is a mistake, probably, I'm going to say this is mistake number 2. So this is a trade that I typically don't look for. The only reason I say I don't look for this one, well, one is because I didn't wake up at the original time. So right here is my 4 o'clock wake up time to start analyzing and get to the chart. I did not get up when this happened. I had gotten my alarm that woke me up. I looked at the phone. I saw that it was making this push up. I was like, there's no way I'm getting an entry until it pulls back. So I would like kind of just slowly watch it on my phone to see if it was giving me some type of pullback for me to get an entry opportunity. It did not. So as you see here, price had made this overall push to the upside on the 1 hour or 30-minute, probably around like 2-3 hours later. And I was looking forward to actually continue, because we didn't have anything that was saying like, hey, we're gonna stop, because we had crossed above here. So and it was a full momentum candle at that too. We had crossed above there like it was nothing. You had seen that on a 4-hour time frame. We had a straight bullish engulfing that 4-hour time frame. 1 hour, nothing but pure momentum. 30-minute, nothing but pure momentum. So when I was looking to really just enter based off momentum, especially as we were starting to get to the beginning of the New York session, where we're going to start to see a little bit more volume. So what the aim was for it to kind of finish out this negative 61.8 or to get up into this blue zone, which I had marked off based on the 4-hour exhaustion to the left. And what I was basing this trade off of was a 5-minute. Now, this is where the mistake came in. Mistake number 1, I didn't get up and properly analyze around the first time. Mistake number 2 was that I had taken a trade that I typically won't take. I like to take my trades based off of, at the very minimum, a 15 or a 30-minute time frame. Like, it's taking a trade off of a 15 or 30-minute level. Whether it be a trend line or a counter trend line, I would prefer to do that. But this one I took off a 5-minute level. The 15-minute had a little bit of confluence here, but it wasn't what the main time frame I was focusing on. Mainly because I was actually just focusing on what the structure was showing me on that push to the upside. And as far as I could tell, nothing was actually going wrong. As you see, we're making higher highs and higher lows, and then we just made one big old higher high, and then we just came down to make a new higher low. So what I was originally anticipating was going to be a higher low, higher high. So structure is supposed to go on average. So once that had happened, you see right here we had got this 5-minute bullish engulfing candlestick right here. This 1, 2, 3, that's a variation. And then even on a lower time frame, I had seen this lower time frame shift. We went from bearish to bullish on a 1 minute, and then based off of that, same rules as the other ones when it comes to my entry, is that as soon as that shift shows me on the lower time frame that we went from bearish to bullish, I'm entering. Literally the first 2 minutes I got into this trade, it did this entire push to the downside. I was like, well, I was clearly wrong, and it took me 2 minutes to figure that out. And then it decided to tease me a little bit and just completely dump to the opposite direction. Like, I would have had the perfect entry had I taken a sell, because look at what it did. Just a complete massacre in comparison to my entry. Would have been literally perfect for a sell opportunity, but again, it is what it is. I mean, take the losses to the chin. This is just a mistake I made where I wasn't consistent in my routine, because as you see, every other day that I was consistent in my routine, where I woke up at 4 a.m., 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 and obviously I took this trade later in the day, but I woke up at 4 a.m. The two mistakes, or well, kind of three, the two mistakes are the one time I don't follow my routine. The one time I don't follow my trading plan. I took a trade during Asian session, doesn't go my way, and I take a trade or I didn't get up at the proper time, so then I feel the need to take this trade right here, which I end up doing, and I take a loss instead of me waiting for what I should properly have waited for, which was just a simple little pullback into here, and if it had given me the right signals, an entry. Or if it didn't, then it would have just kept following the way it did, and I would have stayed out of the market and not lost any money that day. But instead, because I had decided to interact with the market during times that I'm technically not supposed to, I paid the price for it. So that is 100% my fault. But that actually wraps up my week for me. Hopefully you can actually learn something from this, and I will definitely obviously rewatch this video before the next week starts so that I can actually learn from my mistakes. And my mistake was definitely from a psychological standpoint, because obviously losses come with the game, but if you win more than you lose, you are profitable. If I had literally stuck with the trades I had here, this was a 1 to 2, this was a 1 to 3, that's 5% within the first two trades that you take. Let's say you take a loss here, and you took a loss here, and you took a loss here, you're still up 2% for the week. But because I had made those two mistakes, because I had made those two mistakes, that's what happens. This is kind of a mistake number 1, mistake number 2, mistake number 3. Stick to your trading plan. If you have one, stick to it. If you don't have one, formulate one, because that's going to help you stay within the correct areas and parameters that you need to be for you to be successful. As you see here, I had paid the price when I did not stick to the trading plan that I was originally trying to actually follow. I could have ended this week on a profitable note, but I did not because of those simple mistakes. So I appreciate you guys actually tuning in for this video. I'm going to be posting again more often. The goal is to post 2 YouTube videos a week, so please do tune in, as I am going to be going over mainly what my trading journey does look like and going from there. So I appreciate it. Again, this is Quentin checking out. Please do like and subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you can also see whenever I do post a new video, because again, I am going to be doing this a lot more often. Thank you. I'll see you on the next one.